We have never done marketing for ourselves. We have to go for networking. Networking is a wonderful way to get the clients. There are two different ways to where I get clients. First thing, I go, and there are some tricks and tips in networking because I started a Bitcoin blog in 2012. If I had maintained it right now, I
Shall
want to work
ask?
for Apple. I want to associate with Apple on building their business intelligence. Starting a business is actually not a risky process.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Achuth, Let's Talk. And in today's episode, I have a very good friend of mine. So I have been connected with him for past 6-7 years, and he's someone who has guided me in my early stage of my professional career, and he has guided me through a lot of stuff. And he's one of the reasons why I'm into digital marketing, and I have been pursuing so far. And so, if you're someone who is into freelancing or thinking about starting a business, then you should look after. I mean, you will find a lot of valuable nuggets out of this podcast. So stick to this end of this podcast, and I'm pretty much sure you'll find a lot of valuable stuff out of this. So let me introduce today's guest. So his name is Krishna, and I have known him for past 6 years, and I have known him for main reason is that he has taught me multiple stuffs or how to generate money online through different channels. And he has been into since for the past 6 years, I think he has been into blogging, domain flipping, then web designing, then right now software developing something. So Krishna, before we start talking about how you started your journey, uh, tell me what are you doing currently, and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you, Achuth. It was a great opportunity to be in this podcast. I hope you'll take this podcast to some place in the future. And good luck on starting something like this. Definitely, sharing something is every time. It's very very important. So, at present, my name is Krishna. To introduce myself, my name is Krishna Moorthy. I'm basically from Kerala. I started blogging somewhere around when I was in 10th standard. So I'm like 25 years old now. I'm completely focused on internet things, to be very very precise. So my passion always lays in kind of cracking algorithms, doing something on the internet, solving some problems, and going behind the how it works part, rather than just reading a blog and watching a YouTube video and just finding it attractive. I always go back and look how they are doing it, how are they managing to get some kind of use or some kind of money, or some how are they solving all these problems. So this is basically what I'm always curious about. So that's actually driving me to a lot of things right now, and also that is one of the reason why I'm in your podcast right now. So right now I have two companies. One is Triangle, and the second one is actually CodeSteak. So in CodeSteak, we actually, it's a 4-year-old company. We focused on developing people's dream in very simple words. So I don't want to build a normal Android application or an iOS application or a website. I want some dreams to talk to me. And our team is also very 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 curious to know what people are trying to build, and if it's challenging, if it's a burning problem, and if it's not available at the moment right now, we are the happiest people to build. So we don't usually take a lot of works in CodeStake. It's a software company. It's a you can call it a bespoke software company. So we understand how customers really want something, and we assess the challenges we have to it, assess the freshness of the project, the idea, the how it can impact the market overall. So if it's something really interesting for us, then we will definitely take it. And apart from that, we are also a UI UX design company. So we focus on developing designs for futuristic designs, at least for or you can call it minimal, and yet the next generation designs for apps, websites and stuff like that. And for Triangle, in Triangle we have something very interesting to do. We are focusing on business intelligence, and at the moment we are focused on marketing. So our core of the company is always in the business intelligence. We want people to make decisions with the data they have. We totally understand that especially in this pandemic situation, people, you can't afford to make a emotional decision making. So emotional decision making is something that we want to avoid. Definitely, your gut feeling, even for things like when we make decisions, we always go for the gut feeling too. But it is after a part of data-driven decisions that are being made completely. So especially in advertising, if you look into it, on a higher scale, the companies like Coca-Cola and Apple, they all have the data-driven system to follow when they're going
Yeah.
for advertising. But on the lower side, people are actually not into that. So they think that pink color is cool or blue color is cool. So my daughter has a
Yeah.
passion of doing flowers. So let's put a flower. So that doesn't
Okay.
work like that. So
Yeah.
even for a smaller company, for a medium company, for a large company, you can actually use the market data which is available right now in the market, and then build a strategy, build a data-driven system so that they can reduce the risk and increase the probability of winning. So again, the product is the key, but again, if you have a good product, spreading the word out gets much more easier, much more practical if you use the data properly. So even recently we were seeing interesting data from SAP. They were saying only 1% of the whole business data is being converted into useful insights, all over the world.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
actually just very, very, very thin. So we wanted to make it 10%, 20%. So that's the objective we have, and we
Yeah.
have been successful on that. We have worked with billion-dollar clients, multi-million-dollar clients, and we have asked them to do data-driven decision making for their advertising thing at least, and they have done it. It has worked for them, really worked for them, and right now they always talk in numbers. So it's not like experience doesn't count here. Your experience, your ground reality, understanding, everything works here. But again, if you put a layer of data-driven intelligence over it, the
Yeah.
probability of winning will go higher. So we focus with Triangle. We focus on that because it's more of an internet thing. Data, everything is
Yeah.
internet. So and on
Yeah.
the other side, we build softwares for these people who wants the data to come into picture. So this is what I'm running right now. I'm the CEO of both the companies, and I've been working with other agencies as well. So this is what I'm doing right now.
So, are you currently focusing on Indian clients, or you're working with other, international clients as well?
Actually, I worked with I think I worked with around, like, I don't have the correct number, but I've worked with at least 7 to 8 countries. Basically people from customers from 7 to 8 countries. But I'm not completely focused on, like, any particular country. It's all about
Yeah.
solving the problem. So if I get a
Okay.
challenging problem, then definitely I'm happy to solve it. I think as an Indian, we all know that we have the biggest of the biggest problems. So I think
Yeah.
to be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, the best place to be in India, because you get
Yeah.
thousands of problems every day and you get to solve it. But of course, in the US, or if in the UK, there are lots of other companies already doing this. But in India, you don't find a lot of companies doing this. So I think I don't have a specific country-wide focus on this at the moment. I don't know in the future,
Yeah.
but right now there
Yeah.
is nothing like that.
Okay. So you said you started CodeSteak 4 years back, and
Hmm.
when was this triangle started?
Triangle was actually started. I know I was these things were actually done by myself as a freelance activity. So I was doing
Okay.
this since the last almost 6 to 7 years. But
Okay.
my clients was really happy with how the freelance was going. But after the GST introduction, the clients wanted a GST bill. So that's how all the
Okay.
companies happen usually, I think. So so we also thought, why not expand? Why not add more people to team, make it a real business? Because at that point of time, I was a bit worried about converting my freelance career to a business thing, because it was kind of a risky for a or to always go to business. But that is the best
Yeah.
decision I made, if I look back. Because
Yeah.
making running a business is not very difficult, but it's way better than freelance. To be, the potential is way better than freelance. So that's what made me the
Hmm.
company. Yeah.
That's very interesting point, because I have not listened to many people who have said that, because many people say that freelancing is good because of the flexibility of time, or flexibility of that
Yeah.
location and all. But when it comes to business, you have some sort of responsibilities, or you feel like you own something, and you so yeah. So
Yeah, I think definitely there. But of course, as a freelancer, you are the only one playing around. But as a
yeah.
company, you have multiple people working for multiple clients. So if you want the same freedom you get in freelance in business, it's all the matter of hiring people and making them do it. That's not a problem.
Okay.
You can
Okay.
actually become
So
more free and flexible.
okay, all right. So you explained about how you what are the services that you provide, and how CodeStick and how Triangle was built. So how did this all got started? At what age? You said you when you started when you were 19 or 17 something. So how did
Yeah,
this
okay, yeah.
curious part got started with, like in your college, school? How is that?
Yeah, so actually it started, very interestingly. So when I was in eighth standard, there was a competition happening in my school. Okay, it was a IT competition, and the objective was to make a website. Okay, a simple HTML website, because we were, in CBSE we were taught HTML and Adobe Photoshop in eighth standard. So
So we are
this
talking
this
this in the year. In which year are we talking about this? Because right now,
I think
class
it's
8
in,
standard.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
2010, I think, correct. I
2010.
think
So that's when even
2010. Yeah.
we didn't had Geo and all. Yeah,
Yeah, right. That's the point.
right, right.
So
So that's
2010,
early. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of early, and it was a kind of, I don't know how to tell about it, but I'll give you the idea, and then you decide. So it's basically when I was in eighth standard, they were asking students to participate in this event, and it was like two people has to build a website within 14 days on a particular subject that they'll be giving it, and you have to present it and you have to get the prize, and that's how it works. So there was actually four teams selected out of it, but one of the guy in one team was not actually interested in it. So my teacher actually, I was the least student. I was always a backbencher. I never, I barely passed the exam. So she was not very fancy on me. But then again, she, when that guy was going out, she asked me whether you want to join. So I said yes, I want to join. And she, her name is Rani, so I have to, put her here. So then again, she asked me, you want to join? Yes, I said I'll join, and I was very curious about it. At the same time, my dad actually, brought a computer to my house. It was actually an old second-hand computer, but it was, very old, but it was actually doing a very good job at my house. So this both of the things happened at the same time, and it was kind of a, a miracle for me. And then, when I was starting this website project, so, the subject was to build a website for scientists. So it is a Wikipedia like thing for scientists. So
Okay.
we had to put about Albert Einstein, C.V. Raman, and people like that. And so we started developing. My colleague was actually not very much interested in that. He was kind of working. My partner, to be very clear. So he was actually
Yeah.
not very much into it. So I was very much into it, and he said, okay, you do it. And he was also contributing, definitely he was contributing, but we made a website. And on the other side, these kids actually, they're in 8th standard, but they take the books from 12th standard and they'll bring that to here, and that definitely created a big curiosity in me. What are they actually building? So they started writing, I think, CSS code or something. So we were fully focused on HTML. They were writing something CSS, and they were working on a cricket team website. So that got me really curious, and then the day of competition came in, and obviously we were the last people, because they won the prize. Out of four,
Yeah.
we had the fourth position. So that is very,
Yeah.
but that thing, put a straight arrow into my head, and it said,
Yeah.
your life is going to be in internet. This is what you have to
Yeah.
focus. That is actually the moment when I found out what my passion actually is. And then I went to my dad and said, I want to become a web designer. And he said, what are you talking? You have to become a BTech, you have to take BTech and do job and stuff like that. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
typical things. And I said, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to become a web designer. And then I went to, I was in Alapi that time. I went to Kochi and I found some, MCA book of my cousin. I took that book and came here. I learned all that thing. And, it was very
Yeah.
fascinating. So I decided I'll go to BCA. I planned all my life at that point of time. Then it was very
Yeah.
funny. But then again, after that, slowly I started. There's one more instance that happened. When I was in 12th standard, after all that thing, when I was in 10th standard, I started slowly exploring how things are working on internet and all this stuff. So when
Yeah.
I was in 11th standard, 12th standard, that gap, when I was in this library, there is a week magazine, right? We always go for the week
Yeah.
magazine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
week magazine, I saw a simple, a small box. It had a photo of someone, and on the right side, it was written, "This guy actually makes money out of blogging online." And there was a photo of Harsh Agarwal. You all know, I think in
Yeah.
blogging, everybody knows who's Harsh Agarwal. And I
Yeah.
was like, so attracted to that kind of post, because some guys making money out of blogging, out of internet, so it's possible. So at that point of time, my how it works curiosity, started working on that. And I know I was looking around and I slowly teared that paper. I put it in my pocket, kept that in the library, school library. It is a very big offense in our school because it was a very convent kind of school. And
Yeah.
I still have that paper, to be honest. I still have that paper. So it's my mark there. And then from that point I started reading his articles, on Shout Me Loud, Harsha Agarwal's articles. And from there I started, I kept goals like reading all the articles of Harsha Agarwal's blog, all the articles in blogging, affiliate marketing. I started learning all that. I started building a website, building blogspot on Blogspot. And then my friend Abid helped me host a website in WordPress, and then I moved to
Yeah.
WordPress. I started Blog Beats. It was actually a website where, one of the problem I found at that point was, every newbie wants to understand how to do a blogging, but there is no much resource for that. So I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I'll start preparing some of the minor resources, but there was other resources available in other websites, but I wanted
Yeah.
to make it very, very, very simple. So that
Yeah.
really worked for me. I started making money, definitely that way it started. And, that's how the whole game started. And at some point, I figured out that, focusing just on blogging is getting saturated. So blogging is actually getting saturated because lots of big players are coming in, lots of small players are already there. And, you
Yeah.
know, the overall scenario is kind of saturated. So I thought, rather than just focusing on blogging, why not we just focus on, web designing or, digital marketing? Because at that point of time, I don't think Facebook ads was actually active. It was not even present.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
much more opportunities in, expanding in the internet space, helping people, because lots of people was asking me how to do internet marketing, how to do a website, because this is actually
Yeah.
the byproduct that I learned from building a blog. This was
Blogs.
actually
Yeah.
not my objective to
Yeah.
learn how to do marketing or how to do a
Exactly.
website, but when I was
Yeah.
building a blog, I learned how to do marketing, how to do a website. So these actually help. And then again, one of my, when my mom was in one of the hospital, she was going for a consultation, and the doctor asked whether you have someone to do marketing for us, can you recommend someone? And she recommended me, and that's my first website. That's how I started,
Okay.
got my first website, and that's where it started. And then I did marketing for them, and proudly I can say that I increased their traffic from, overall footfalls to up to 200%, and she's still happy, a happy client for me. That's how it all started. And then I decided to build up CodeSteak as a web development company, and then I slowly started digital marketing as a freelance activity, and then converted it to Triangle.
Right. Right. So that's an interesting journey because let's say you started with some intrigue or interesting part from coding, and then you moved to blogging. Then from blogging, let's
Hmm.
say you learned about web designing. Then you thought
Right.
about SEO. Then I remember in our first meeting that we had maybe in the year 2017, you showed me I think a big article of backlink or something where it was a huge 10-15 pages of SEO strategies that was written or we are going through.
Yeah, I think it was actually there was a funny way I got into Shout Me Loud, because that actually turned things a little bit more interestingly, because I really wanted to publish my article in Shout Me Loud because it was one of the
Okay.
best blogs we could find. It is still one of the best blogs for bloggers.
Yeah.
So I actually, I had a very bad English, and I was trying to push my articles to Shout Me Loud via guest blogging. Harsh rejected it as a first email, and he was so sweet. He actually emailed me personally saying that these are the problems that you have to fix and come back again. We are always welcoming you, such things. And then again, I sent the second article. He rejected that, and he gave me another email saying that this is the problem with your email. And the third email, my trick was to list all of his SEO articles into one article, and then keep
Okay.
a single paragraph fixing all the English, so that he won't be able to say no to it. And he did not say no to it. He accepted it. He published it, and that's how I got into Shout Me Loud as an author. And then I did not publish any much articles after that because I'm not a completely eligible author. But at that point of time, a lot of people came to me asking me, "Can you write for us? Can you write for us?" And then there was my first client, Gautam Velmurugan. He actually saw the article on Shout Me Loud. He messaged me. He said he has five some kind of blogs, and he offered me 500 rupees to write some articles on that. And I said, okay, I'll write for you. And I started writing for his blogs, and slowly he started giving me money, and that's how I got started.
Okay. So it was never like specifically you wanted to do this. It just happened to be one after another, right?
Absolutely. And I was just completely passionate on how things work on internet. This is the algorithm.
Yeah,
So I was always curious about the search engine algorithms. So it was,
yeah,
every day morning it's like playing GTA Vice City. I go to different parts of the blogs and I find what they're doing, what are they actually, doing to build their backlinks, their
yeah,
on-page strategy, off-page strategy, and how Google actually works.
yeah,
All of these things together, we are picturing out a algorithm out of our brain, considering all the
yeah,
inputs we get. So, this thing actually kept me curious. So I kept on doing things I love, but again, it turned out to be in a different direction. So it's an automatic direction I took. I did not plan anything like I had to do that, do this or something like
yes,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even at this time, right, when we right now many people have exposure to internet, and there are many curious kids, or let's say in class 10th or 12th standard people who want to uh, establish or start wanted to earn money through online, and they have no idea where to start with, and they say, okay, should I go for SEO, should I go for blogging, should I go for affiliate marketing? So what do you suggest for those people, because you happen to be happen like you started with something and it explored different ways out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
these people try to go on to one thing in the first step itself. So
Yeah. So I think if the one decision I made when I saw a lot of posts coming out of blogs saying that you can make money out of blogging, make money out of blog. Actually, make money blogging was one of the top keyword at that point of time. So but I that actually doesn't work for me. It didn't work for me, but it should have worked for someone else. I don't know, but going behind that money part might take you to somewhere else. If you
yeah,
really want to focus on affiliate marketing, that will give you results. If you really want to focus on writing some brilliant content, that will give you results. But if you really want to build multiple blogs to sell Amazon products, that will give you results. So I think you can actually scribble a lot. You can go to the market,
yeah,
you can go to websites, multiple websites, try different things, have 10 different blogs testing 10 different things. That is fine. Don't tell it to people, don't publish it as your blog. It's fine, you can do whatever you want. It's all experiments, but end of the day you will find something out of it that you have to focus on full time, or at least give all the efforts into it. So if you the first thing you have to it's like a buffet. You go to there and
yeah, yeah,
and on the first day you'll always look for multiple things, and you won't like a lot. You won't like
yeah,
everything at least. So you'll
yeah,
always find something that you really like, and you always go for it again and again. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, right.
you can keep the buffet concept there. So there are lots of options available to make money online, but there are some things, there are some attractive chicken, attractive beef, but that might not taste well for you, that might not work
Yeah,
well for you. So go for
yeah,
something that really comfortable plus challenging for you. And I'm not saying you have to be on the comfort zone, but it should be comfortable for you in the initial stage to start with, and
yeah,
then it should be consistently challenging rather than putting a lot of big challenges on your head.
yeah,
If you get bombarded with challenges, you will be
yeah,
out of idea, out of you will be completely lost. So rather than doing that, start with simple blogging and then add on challenges. If you don't add on
yeah,
challenges, you will fail. If you don't, if you keep on adding if you're getting bombarded with challenges, you will also, I think, will also fail. So it's basically to start comfortable and then slowly add more challenges on top of it. So
right.
it
All
could be
right.
affiliate marketing, it could be
Yeah,
YouTube, it could be blogging, it could be anything. It could be something like writing articles. But at the end of the day, you should feel happy just waking up and writing it, just waking up and just doing, or at least I don't recommend to kill a sleep, but it should not
yeah,
let you sleep, because I was someone doing that. I was waking up at, I was sleeping only for 2 hours every day doing affiliate marketing, but that did really bad to my health, so I don't recommend that. But again, that
yeah,
should be some of the reason that it should be of
yeah,
fuel
yeah.
all the time.
At the age of 25, right? Like you are
Yeah.
at 25. No, no, no.
Yeah.
So have you found your one thing that you want to, or are you still exploring uh, different ways
Okay,
at the
clear.
moment?
It's an interesting question. So I think I found out that, because whatever I do, the common factor is basically algorithm. So algorithm is, in simple words, it's not like a software algorithm or anything. It's
Yeah,
in very simple words, it's a steps. Okay, it's steps to do something. Okay, it's a process. Okay, so
hmm,
basically you can call it how it works. So
Yeah.
anything, if right now if I'm sitting on a chair, I really want to know how are they making it comfortable, or how are they
Yeah.
making it more flexible for me to turn around, or else
Yeah.
how are we communicating like this on a beautiful screen, and what is the technology behind it, how are they doing it.
Yeah.
So this how
Yeah.
it works has always made me curious. So but
Yeah.
that's always happening. I get more curious when it's digital, and comparatively less curious if it's physical. So I think
Okay.
that is actually pulling me out. So whenever when people comes to me and ask them, when they ask me, I want a website, I want a something like this, I want something, software that does this. I always ask them, where did you get this idea from? So this is the kind of algorithm you want to crack. So this will help 1,000 people, or 1 lakh people, or 1 million people. So that's interesting. So
Yeah.
I'll build the algorithm for you. I'll make the process better for you. So I'm also helping some companies do the process better. So where they
Yeah.
have a list of digital parameters to do, to follow, digital sets of process to follow, the workflow. So these things are actually something that really makes me curious. So I want to I want to go to a company, understand every workflow they have, and then make it automated or optimized, so that they will save at least 30 to 40% of their time every single day. So
Yeah.
this how to work and how it works thing always keeps me
Yeah.
curious. So that is a common factor. So it's basically anything that if I'm involved in how it works, then I'm definitely into it.
Okay. Okay, Krishna. So far you have said about the intrinsic side of you, what you're doing, why you are doing it. This is that side of it. So you said that your one thing is to crack algorithm, and to crack, let's say, algorithm of UI designs and all, to develop softwares. You have CodeSteak, and to
Hmm.
numeric side of it, let's say business intelligence or database or data driven, anything that you crack through that, those kind of algorithm you crack through Triangle. So
Correct.
now, yeah, the primary objective or primary challenge that any freelancer or business at the moment, if you have to say, is to how do you get clients for all of this? Like you have two businesses, and people find it difficult to run one business. So you are having two different set of business. So how do you get clients for all of this?
So first thing, we have to go for networking. Networking is a wonderful way to get the clients. I've every single client of mine. There are two different ways to that I get clients. First thing, I go meet people. In events like entrepreneurship events, or random events or anything. So ideally I always go for people meetings with the customers will be some kind of my prospects or something like that, or the participants will be some kind of a prospect. So that is one part where I get all the clients from. I usually give them my card. I talk to them. I'm a super extrovert, so I always talk to them. I tell them how I'm dealing with. So when they start talking with me, I always whenever I greet someone, I ask them what are they doing. So they'll tell me they're running a steel business. So I'll tell them, okay, I am a web designer. So if someone else is telling me that they have something like a big kind of business like an Uber or something, I'll say I'll have a business intelligence thing. So I always depending on the business requirement, whether he or she will need something from me from my business, then I'll definitely route it that way. That is actually a very big guess again, but it has worked really well for me. So from there, I give them the result. They'll come to me. They'll tell the requirements. I give them a pricing. We confirm. We go for the contract, and then we deliver the work very clearly. That is one of the important points. So you can go for networking. Get all the clients on there, and at least if you meet 100 people, you will get at least 3 calls. And having that rich contact list is very, very, very important. So anytime when you put a status, they'll ask us, what are you doing? So you have started a new company. May I know the services? Or I saw that you shared a beautiful app design. Can you do an app for me? I have a friend who wants an application. Can you do? And it
Yeah.
keeps on going like that. And from there, all of that happens. All of the clients that will come to your business in the future will be from references and recommendations. So right now I get at least, I think, around like 10 calls a month. Okay, 10 calls a month people will call me on, asking me how, whether I can do a website for them, whether I can do a business deals for them, social media marketing, digital marketing, anything for them. So and I'll say, okay, yeah, we have a company, we're doing this, I'll send you a portfolio, I'll send you a bill, I'll send you what we can deliver on that. And then, we'll talk to them, we'll meet them, we'll continue from there. So, I think around 30% of all my clients are actually from networking I have done, and the balance 70% is completely referred by them. So it's 30% of like my customers referring the 70% of my business. So that is how it works. And also we were, when you start a business, and if you run it for like something like 2 to 3 years, and then gain some attention, you will start getting associates. So marketing associates are basically like, export people or freelancers, or people working in another company. They will start working for us, they'll start referring people to a company, and then we'll have to pay a cut for them. So we have multiple associates right now. So one of the primary revenue source right now is associates. And we have multiple associates, and we also get clients. We as a marketing, you can also call us a marketing agency, but we have never done marketing for ourselves. We have not even created a single Instagram post, or we have not run an ad or anything for a website. Also, we have not done anything. So it always keeps on coming as a reference. Now, of course, Achuth has also referred me some clients. So definitely, so it's it's basically a network that keeps on coming.
Yeah, so it's not about the number of it's you have already focused the bottom of the funnel. It's like you have few people working for you, or you get few leads, but they are very quality leads.
Yeah, correct. But that's not a scalable method. So if you're starting a business, and if it's a medium business, you can have say for example 10 calls coming in every month, converting around like 7 or 8 people out of that, getting the business. That is fine. But if you want to go very high scale, like if you want to make it a 2,000 crore company, or a 100 crore company, 50 crore company, you can't always rely on such things. So, we have not come to the 2,000 crore mark or anything. So, that is a long way to go. We are definitely focused on that. But, to achieve that kind of a point, you can't call this a funnel. This is a minor funnel compared to what that is. So, in order to get there, you'll have to do lots of marketing, lots of PR, lots of, getting the word out there, activities there. So that is actually a totally different process, that which we have not done yet. That is actually we are planning to do in the long run, with respect to the plans and goals we have. But at this moment, getting a client, or to answer your question, which the question is actually, how do you get a client for a freelancer or a business? So the first thing that you have to do is go networking. So one of the saddest part in my life for the last 3 years was actually there was no networking events or anything at all. So that is really a missing point. So right now it's getting back really faster. So it's high time we go out there, talk to people, give them the idea that what we are doing, what we can provide to them, what we can contribute to the team. So automatically people will start calling us.
So anyone who is starting out, your first tip for them would be start networking.
Go to the events. You can actually do that full time. Okay, you can actually do that full time. So if there was active events out there, I'll hire someone to assist me in the office, and I'll ask them to take care of at least 30 to 40% of all my works, and then I'll put that time into networking. Because if I go out there, I'll definitely bring my clients, because I'm experienced in networking, experienced in how to close clients at the moment. So I have that point at right now. So I can go and make business out of it. But right now there is a problem in the market. But I can see all around India it's coming back again. Today also I have a networking event by this Thai India. They have Thai awards going on. So I have an invitation today evening, so I can Thai TIE. It's actually Thai. It's a funding company. It's an investment group. Not an investment group, but for acceleration kind of thing. So it's very famous. ThaiCon. You might have heard of ThaiCon. It is actually one of the biggest events in India. So I can definitely go today evening, but I'm not able to go because I have a meeting. So if I go there, I'll just talk to a few people. I'll introduce my services. I'll tell them the clients where I work for, and there are some tricks and tips in networking which we use. So definitely we'll get some data, and we'll close the client. That's how it works.
Okay, do you mind sharing those?
Basically, to give you a simple idea, always go and hit people. Like just basically just go there, and just go and when the tea break time, go and take a
Yeah.
cutlet and take a coffee, and you will find some most amount of people, like the people with talking a lot. There'll be one of the speakers in the event. There'll be one of the questionnaires in the event. So they'll ask some intelligent question where the speakers can't even answer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
such points you can go there, and even if they are eating a sandwich, go and eat a sandwich with them. You might like
Yeah.
cutlet, but go and eat a sandwich with them. So you have to be there. So that is your
Yeah.
objective. It's not the coffee, it's not the tea, it's not the sandwich. You have to be there at that point. And also
Yeah.
ask some weird questions in the public, in the events, get the mic, always get the mic, ask some super weird question, ask some of the secrets of the speakers so that everybody will notice you and they'll come to you in the, the event, tea break time. So I usually ask,
That
for an
happens.
SEO event. Yeah, for an SEO event, it happened like very long back. Some guy was actually a speaker. He was explaining his SEO tactics and all these things. I took the mic and asked him, "How do you build backlinks? Tell me that." And that is something that people don't usually share, because
Yeah.
he might have a
Yeah.
website, and he was saying you can go for guest blogging. No, I don't want that. I want the website list. Tell me that. Tell me how do I actually do that? And he was like, he actually with the mic he said, "You are putting me into trouble." I said, "It's okay, fine, you can sit right now." And after that, in the tea party, the tea time, tea break time, these guys were coming to me and asking, "Oh, and why did you ask him that question?" Because I want to know how his backlink, what is
Yeah.
your name? I'm Krishna Moorthy. What is your name? And things go that way.
Yeah.
That is also one thing.
Yeah.
The other trick is to make sure you have multiple services and you have to ask them first and get the data and then talk to them. If they are into something like a very small business that only needs a website, you be a website designer. But if they are a large business, they need marketing and all this stuff, you tell them everything. So it's all about the first impression that you make. And even if someone, you really want to go and talk to, and if it's really crowded, go and make a scene there, just pour some tea, people will notice. Basically, lots of things like that. Also, you will find more tissue in the backside, but come to that side and take a tissue. Ask everyone to move and take a tissue. Say hi, and then when he's free, don't disturb anybody. This is not this is
Yeah.
done very professionally. This is not,
Yeah.
these are it's not like
Yeah.
disturbing and irritating people or anything. This is very professionally done, very 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 well maintained and stuff. So you're not disturbing anyone. It's just give them a smile. Always give people a smile. So when you smile to someone, they'll naturally smile back and they'll come back and say hi, rather than just
Yeah.
being like rude to them. So there are lots of other things. You have to
Yeah.
practice and find your own. It's like that.
Yeah. Got it. And okay, coming to our next question, that what are the mistakes you have made personally in your journey that you would like to share?
I've made a lots of mistakes. I think I don't keep a track of my mistakes. I actually had one, but one
The
of
major
the
ones, the major three.
yeah, I think some of the major mistakes I've done was not focusing completely on one thing at a time, because I was into too many things at a time. That actually has advantages and disadvantages, but it has more disadvantages, because I couldn't completely focus on something, because I started a Bitcoin blog in 2012. If I had maintained it right now,
Yeah.
and I also regret selling my bitcoins, definitely. So these are some of the if I was focusing completely on that, I could have made something. But then one of the other some kind of mistakes that I have made is not focusing on LinkedIn. So if I had the opportunity to focus on LinkedIn from since the beginning, I was there on LinkedIn, like I think like 5 years back, but I did not focus much on LinkedIn. So if I had that strong relationship on LinkedIn, I was focusing on Facebook rather than LinkedIn. But if I had the same kind of effort put on LinkedIn at that point of time,
Yeah.
I'd have at least 10 to 20 leads coming in every single day. LinkedIn is super powerful right now. So I don't, I regret that. There are like chain of mistakes that follows with that. I think those mistakes have actually worked out well. Some of the things that I've done, some of the things I actually miss doing it. I am glad that I'm not doing it right now, because it could have taken my direction to a new way. If I was completely fit to blogging, then it would have taken me
Yeah.
to blogger rather than a business guy.
Yeah.
There are things, you can't say it's mistakes. It's basically, like directional kind of navigation thing that keeps me,
Yeah.
moving along that way. Yeah.
And I'm just curious about the Bitcoin part which you said, because you also
Hmm.
know that you have helped me set up my first Bitcoin blog. That's how,
Right.
yeah. So that's in 2017 something. So you had
Yeah.
blog back in, I mean, 2012 Bitcoin blog.
2012, yeah, right.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was talking about how to make Bitcoin very easily. And like, there was lots of websites where you can go and, do the, I'm not a robot thing or something like, do some basic works, like crowd sourcing, kind of works. And then you get to earn some Satoshis or something like that. So, you
Okay.
can earn some from those websites, and then you can it was actually a blogspot blog, so I actually deleted it completely back long back. I also regret deleting it. So if I had maintained it, it could have been
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you owned Bitcoin as well during that time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Coming to my last question for at least this podcast, because if I have to keep talking, like you have different experience, different sort of experience, you'll keep on sharing. So let's to stick to one part. Like so, so this is primarily to we wanted to have a blog for freelancers or who is starting out in business. So what do you have anyone who is young, who is let's say in 18, 19, 20, 21, and is in college or somewhere and is planning to start business? What are you
Okay.
top, top list of key things that you want to share?
So I totally recommend anyone to start a business. So it's basically like, if you start a business and fail, you will anyway have something on your, as a project or something on your resume. Or if you start a business and get succeeded, beautiful, you can go along that way. So,
Yeah.
starting a business is actually not a risky process. You have to make the first step. I'm sure pretty much in India, if you start a business, people will start throwing stones at you, saying that this is not the way to go for it. You have to do that, this and that. That is actually a
Yes.
sad thing. But unfortunately, there are some good people. Unfortunately, there are some bad people. So it's kind of like that. So, the best thing, always start a business. You don't have to register it or anything, but don't do anything illegal. I'm just saying, I start the idea of business in your mind. Create a company, give it a name, give it a logo. Do everything, do the accounts as a different way. Sell things like that, and then slowly, once you start hitting the numbers, and go away and register it. Straight away register the company as a partnership firm or a proprietorship firm or an LLP or something like that, and start working on it. So, even in the college time, once you're 18, you can start registering some business or something, and you can straight away go for it. And experience how it works. It has an interesting. It will give you a completely interesting perspective on, perceiving everything, even for a job, or doing a different business, or how things work in the world and how the real world works. These things are actually not been taught in schools.
Oh, yeah.
This has to be cracked. I really wish all my friends and cousins and the people I go along with had at least tried one business, so that I can talk to them in a more interesting way, discussing the old
Yeah.
things and stuff. It's okay to fail. It's definitely okay to fail. If you're worried about failing, don't tell anyone. You can start a business
Yep.
completely secretly. You don't have to tell anyone, not even your parents. You can start
Yeah.
unless it's an illegal business, you can definitely start a business completely
Yeah.
secret. And you can run it. I know there is a little bit of investment required for a business, for every business. So usually, if you take a list of things that you spend since the last like 6 months or 1 year, or if you have the money you spend like that, you have enough money to start at least 3 to 4 minimum small businesses. If you can literally start a business for 1,000 rupees of the domain and 3,000 rupees on hosting, and start a website and do something. So it's definitely
Yeah.
there. Possibilities are there. Go for it. Always take the first step. The first step is very difficult. Just assume that you already have a business, but it doesn't have a name, it
Yeah.
doesn't have a logo. Go for it. Create the
Yeah.
name, create the logo, buy a domain. Go for it. Just buy a domain. I have around, I think around 20-25 domains with me. These are actually the businesses I really want to build. I've never built it, but I really want to
Yeah.
build this business. I have the domains with me. If I'm losing 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees on domain, that is a punishment for me for not doing the business.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, whenever you find an idea, find a business, go for it, buy a domain, spend that money, Don't worry about money in a business, because if you fail in 21, you can make the money in 31. If you fail in 22, you can make the money in 32. It's always like the 10-year decade difference that you can handle. No problem. It's very basic. So people start at 35, 40. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You can definitely do that. No problem.
So you're asking everyone to start a business, and first step should be buying a domain so that something will
if it's an
take care.
obviously if it's an internet business, you have to buy a domain. If it's a
Yeah.
completely physical business, you might not want a domain. But take the first step. It's always the first
Yeah.
step. So just if you want to sell something, recently one of my friend was bringing me a paper, and he said he made that from out of elephant dung. So it's beautiful. He's actually an Android developer. He was working as an Android developer. He quit his job. He's free for 6 months, and he started building this. And I was like, this is something that you focus on. It's a beautiful thing. So he actually made that
Yeah.
completely, hands-on. So it's possible. So explore something like that. If once you finalize it, it's just start the business. Just give it a name, give it a logo, give it a domain, give it a, if you're completely offline, register it. Just go for that
Yeah.
risk. You're not going to lose your head. You're not going to the jail. It's just a business. Go for it. Lots of millions of Indians are actually doing it. Even kids are doing it. It's high time
Yeah.
you do it. Also, if you have a family, if you're from a family that doesn't do any kind of business at all in any range, you are the first one. You should be the first one to do that, for sure.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I could relate to this part when I worked for. I was doing job for, let's say, 3-4 years, and
Mhm.
many times our boss say that you have to, or boss or manager say that you have to deliver it at this time or be in the
Mm.
meeting at this point. So why they are saying it, or the importance of that is I realized only after starting a business or freelance. Just as you said
Correct. Correct.
that. So why they are saying, or why they're focusing, or the importance of that part, we will only realize even in, I mean, I think if you start a business and fail, it will actually help you to be a good employer as well.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct. Absolutely. So
so
definitely it will help.
so final thing is, Krishna, do you have any ask, like, are you looking for any clients or teammates for yourself, or do you have, want to pitch anything to our listeners or anything? If you have
I
any
want to
ask.
work for Apple. I want to associate with Apple on building their business intelligence, and I want to make sure Microsoft does that better. I also want to make Google's algorithm more, impressive and spam free. And I want to do a lot of things definitely. So these are definitely there. My aims are always on the top. My dreams. I don't mind dreaming about working for Apple.
Yeah.
I don't want to work as an
Okay.
employee for Apple. I want to work in my company as a service to Apple or something like that. So these are the companies that we actually use daily. Whenever I use an iPhone, I'm so proud of using it. It's so beautiful, beautifully built product. So whenever we
Yeah.
use Google, Google has changed the way we see everything. So
Okay.
we have resources or any kind of information on the hand, just like that. So these are the companies that really makes wonders. So I really want to work for them. That's it.
Yeah.
So
So
if
accidentally.
Sundar Pichai is actually seeing this podcast,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
my email ID will be dropped down.
Yeah, yeah,
Comment
yeah. I
below.
will say, I comment, yeah, yeah, in the descriptions. So Steve Wozniak, or Elon
Yes,
Musk,
yes,
or
yes,
Bill Gates.
yes.
If anyone accidentally stumbles
Yeah,
upon this
Musk is
podcast,
actually
yeah,
doing a great job. There is nothing to work on.
yeah. Okay, so I will have your email IDs and all of your social media handles in my description captions.
Sure, 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 sure,
So,
definitely.
Krishna, thank you so much for being in the
Thank you.
podcast and accepting this invite. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for the invite. Thank you so much for the invite. It was a great experience. This is my first podcast, I think. I've done interviews, but not the podcast, but definitely the first one. Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope you found some really good, input from me, or at least some useful for, freelancers and people who are starting the businesses in India, especially. So these are the things that actually work for me. So if you want to come up with something really unique that is beautiful, always go for it. Always take the first step. That is my only thing to say.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that Achuth took your first step after that. After we met, you're leaving the job, and going for a, I still remember that. So he has, that's also worked for him. So it definitely should take the first step.
Yeah. Don't say it in loud way because I'm at home and my parents don't know that I have quit my job 2 years back, and they still
Interesting.
think that I'm working.
I'll send
So
them a letter.
okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.